grab a drink, open some boxes, lick some brushes. Let's go. So, a bit of a history lesson for you. While the Emperor was still studying for his medical degree, he had a go at creating some Space Marines. Although, at the time, he didn't call them Space Marines. He called them Thunder Warriors. He must have been a fan of 80s metal, and for that, I salute him. These Thunder Warriors were actually better than Space Marines in every way. Stronger, more skilled in combat, and more resilient to damage. The only downside? Well, two downsides. Complete mental instability, and also their bodies rejected all the augmentations applied to them. So, in truth, not ideal. Anyway, once the Thunder Warriors had served their purpose and established the rule of the Emperor over all mankind, and indeed Terra, he showed his appreciation by having them killed. Bit harsh? Maybe. Which brings us all to this guy. You can't actually buy legit miniatures of the Thunder Warriors, so I thought I'd have a go at creating my own, using a combination of the Age of Sigmar, 40k and Horus Heresy miniatures, plus a tiny bit of sculpting. Well, I say sculpting, I actually mean gap filling, but we'll come to that a little bit later. I think with a few choice parts we should be able to make something that at the very least looks cool. There's not actually a lot of reference material out there, so I stuck to a few illustrations by the legendary Games Workshop artist John Blanche. Jump on Google and you'll see what I mean. After you've watched this video, of course. The head was from the Dominion box set, and a couple were supplied without masks, and this one fits the bill nicely. His long, luscious, flowing hair will help me with the manic nature of this miniature. I want to use this hammer, but it was being held in the wrong arm, so a quick snip and added to a new arm should do the job. Ah yes, sprue glue. Some old sprue added to a pot of Tamiya extra thin. A few grenades never hurt anyone. Super glue, as always, is my friend, and I've used a lot of it here to fill the gaps of the bad joints, ones where they don't quite sit as flush as I would like. Hopefully, once primed, you'll never notice. Glue the legs in place, and then we can go around the whole miniature with some pure Tamiya extra thin, tidying up some of the smaller gaps. And there we have it, one Thunder Warrior ready for action. However, before we paint, let's give this guy some battle damage. Clean and shiny armour was not really what these guys went for. So let's carve away some plastic. As always, watch your fingers here guys. I've already lost 2 fingers over the years. Luckily, none of them are my own. It's a Warhammer base, so of course we're going to use some cork, and a little filler, and a bit of dirt. As these guys were absolute nut jobs and killed all before them, I think it's only apt that he should be standing on a big pile of skulls. I've sculpted many masterpieces over the years. Most of them can be found on display in various galleries around the world. But for this guy, we're just going to ram it in a bit and smooth it out. As we're going to paint the head separately, we'll make an impression of it in the green stuff. This should then fit nicely back in place once finished, in theory. Okay, let's bring this bad boy home. I started with an undercoat of some dark red paint from a rattle can. In truth, the can was cold and I was drunk, so the base coat went on a little bit thick, but I think we can work with it. I used a few different reds and dry brush the whole model, getting lighter and covering less area each time. Pretty much all the reference materials that I did use showed the armour to be worn and have a lot of battle damage. This suits me fine. I haven't got to worry too much about the finer details and can concentrate more on the overall mood of the miniature. Well, that's my excuse anyway. Once I'm happy with the reds, I can then go around and start picking out some of the details. And also shade some of the recess areas with a dark red wash. Everything then gets a silver dry brush. I can then tone down a few areas with one of the dry brush reds I used earlier. For the weapons, I'm not using much metallic paint here. Instead, I'm wet blending various greys together. I didn't want big silver weapons to distract from the main model. We can use that same grey on the grenades and add a few small metallic details to the gun. All the details then get a light dry brushing with white just to pick out the edges and make them stand out a little bit more. Whilst we're at it, we can also do the same for the base. We'll also give the skulls a quick coat of Skeleton Horde contrast paint. Speaking of skulls, let's get the final face painted. Super watered down paint to start, and then slowly build up the layers from there. Keep doing this, getting lighter each time, and by the end of it, you should end up with a decent face. I also wear these glasses for driving. Maybe that's why I lost my pilot's license. Well, if you got this far, many thanks, and please do hit the like and subscribe buttons. And while you're doing that, let's take a look at the final